Welcome to my YouTube channel. Could a single coin, worth just 1 cent, be worth more than a house? More than a car? More than most people's entire life savings? Well, believe it or not, there's a 2004 1 cent coin that could be worth up to $27 million. Yes, you heard that right, $27 million. But why? What makes this penny so special? Let's dive into the incredible history, value, and mystery behind the 2004 US penny. First things first, let's talk about the 2004 1 cent coin, more commonly known as the penny. It's the smallest denomination in US currency, and for many of us, it's a coin we toss around without much thought. After all, it's worth just 1 cent, right? But hold on, this 1 cent coin, specifically from 2004, has caught the attention of coin collectors and investors across the world. Why? Because, like many coins, it has a fascinating history, and in some rare cases, can carry a jaw-dropping value. The history of the US penny dates back to 1793, making it one of the oldest coins in American history. Over the years, the design and composition of the penny have evolved. But by the time we reach 2004, the design of the penny had been relatively stable for several decades, with President Abraham Lincoln's image gracing the front, as it has since 1909. The 2004 penny is part of the Lincoln Bicentennial Series, marking the 200th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The reverse side of the coin was redesigned for this special occasion, showing a fresh take on Lincoln's legacy. But while the design of the penny in 2004 was interesting and memorable, the real story of this coin begins with some unexpected factors: rarity, mistakes, and of course, value. You see, most of us don't think twice about throwing pennies into a jar or pocketing them without much thought. But certain pennies are far from ordinary. Some are the result of minting errors, mistakes made during the coin production process. These errors are rare, but when they occur, they can significantly increase the value of a coin. And that's exactly what happened with the 2004 1 cent coin. Some 2004 pennies, for example, were struck with errors that make them extremely valuable to collectors. One of the most significant mistakes was the so-called double die error. This happens when the coin is struck by the press more than once, causing some of the images on the coin, like Lincoln's face or the lettering, to appear doubled. It's an error that makes the coin incredibly unique, and therefore, incredibly valuable. But what about the infamous $27 million claim? How is that possible for a simple penny, you ask? Well, here's the twist. The $27 million figure refers to the hypothetical value of a particular 2004 penny that could, under the right circumstances, be worth this astounding amount. This isn't just any 2004 penny, it's a coin with a significant error, a very rare one that could go for millions of dollars in the right market. Let's take a closer look at some of the possible errors that could turn an ordinary 2004 penny into a collector's dream. The double die is the most famous error, but there are others. For instance, some pennies were struck with the wrong amount of copper or zinc, leading to slight variations in color or texture. Others were struck with incorrect dies, resulting in coins that were misaligned or featured unusual patterns. While these errors may seem minor to the untrained eye, to a coin collector or investor, they're like finding a hidden treasure. The $27 million price tag is tied to a coin sold at auction. While it's highly unlikely that a 2004 penny will ever reach this kind of price, it does show just how valuable rare and unique coins can be. The highest price ever paid for a coin in the US was for the 1933 Double Eagle, which fetched a whopping $18.9 million at auction. But for a penny, the record could potentially be broken if the right conditions align. Of course, not every 2004 penny is going to be worth millions. Most of them are worth only their face value, 1 cent. But for serious collectors and investors, the thrill is in the hunt. They know that even the smallest of imperfections can lead to a massive payoff. The key is identifying the rare coins before they slip through the cracks. And that's where the expertise of professional numismatists and appraisers comes in. So, how do you know if you've found a penny that could be worth more than just 1 cent? There are a few things to look for. First, check for any visible errors on the coin, like doubled die or misprints. Then, carefully inspect the coin's condition. Coins that are in better condition, especially if they've been well preserved or graded highly by professional organizations, can fetch much higher prices. And finally, it's crucial to understand the rarity of the error. The fewer coins with that error, the more valuable it becomes. Now you might be wondering, what happens if you do have one of these rare 2004 pennies? Well, your next step would be to have it appraised. Professional numismatists can evaluate the coin's authenticity, determine its rarity, and estimate its value. If it turns out that your penny is a rare, high-value specimen, you might find yourself holding onto a coin worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. So, the next time you see a 2004 penny, don't just toss it into your pocket or jar. It could be more than just 1 cent. It might be a tiny piece of American history with a value far beyond its face value. Who knows? You might just be holding the next $1 million penny in your hand. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes peeled for rare coins. The world of numismatics is full of hidden treasures, just waiting to be discovered. Next. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and lucrative coins you probably have in your pocket right now, the 2012 D1 coin. But hold on, it's not just any penny. This one could be worth an insane $9 million. Yes, you heard that right, millions. So, make sure to stay tuned as we uncover the surprising story behind this tiny coin and its huge value. At first glance, this may look like just another regular penny. But what if I told you that this seemingly insignificant coin, which was minted in 2012, could potentially fetch millions of dollars in the right circumstances? Let's get into the details and explore how this 1-cent piece became a valuable treasure. Before we dive into the specifics of the 2012 D penny, let's take a quick look at the history of the US 1-cent coin, or as most of us know it, the penny. The penny has a long history dating back to 1793 when it was first minted. Originally, the penny was made of pure copper and was much larger than the small coin we know today. Over the years, the design and composition of the penny have evolved. The most famous design, of course, is the Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Since then, the penny has undergone various design changes, with the current reverse side featuring the Union Shield, which was introduced in 2010. But we're not here to talk about just any penny. Today, we're focusing on a very special one minted in 2012. So, what makes this particular penny worth millions? Let's find out. To understand the immense value of this penny, we need to look at something very unique: errors in the minting process. Over the years, some coins have been produced with rare mistakes, or error coins, that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. And the 2012 D penny is no exception. Most 2012 D pennies look like this. They feature the familiar design with the shield on the reverse side, and like any penny, are made mostly of zinc with a copper coating. The face value of this coin is just 1 cent, or 1 cent. However, there have been reports of some very rare and valuable 2012 D pennies that were struck with an error, a mistake that makes them worth up to $9 million. Now I know what you're thinking: how could a penny from 2012 be worth that much? Well, let's break it down. In the case of this 2012 D penny, some of the coins were struck with a rare, unique error that caused them to have features that weren't supposed to be there. In some cases, these coins were double struck, meaning that the coin was pressed multiple times during the minting process, creating extra details or misalignments on the design. This particular error creates a slight misalignment in the images and can lead to multiple impressions of the same design on the coin. While this might sound like a minor mistake, collectors absolutely love these rare error coins. They are considered a form of coinage anomaly, and because they're so hard to come by, they are valued at a premium. But it doesn't stop there. Another reason some 2012 D pennies have skyrocketed in value is due to a rare production mistake involving a coin that was struck with the wrong die, a die that was supposed to be used for a different denomination entirely. This particular mix-up resulted in a penny that doesn't just look like a typical 1-cent piece, but rather a unique variation that collectors consider to be worth millions. Now, in the world of coin collecting, there's something known as coin grading. This is the process by which coins are evaluated for their quality, rarity, and overall condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the highest possible grade, indicating that the coin is in perfect condition. Only coins that are in exceptional condition and feature rare errors are worth big money. The 2012 D-era penny that I'm talking about is often graded as a 65 or higher, meaning it's in excellent condition, and because of its rarity, it could fetch anywhere from several thousand to millions of dollars in the right auction. So, let's talk numbers. While most 2012 D pennies are worth just 1 cent, the rare era versions have been sold at auction for tens of thousands, and in some extreme cases, as much as $9 million. The market for rare coins is crazy, and these types of errors only increase in value as time goes on. Not only are these pennies considered valuable because of their rarity, but they're also incredibly desirable among collectors who are always on the lookout for coins that feature unique imperfections. Some of the highest paid coins in history have been rare era coins, including double-struck or die-mismatch coins. So, what does this mean for you? It means that if you happen to come across a 2012 D penny with these errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But here's the catch: these era coins are extremely rare. In fact, only a handful of these coins are believed to exist. So, finding one in your pocket change is a long shot, but not impossible. Now, how can you tell if your 2012 D penny is worth millions? One way is to closely examine the coin for signs of an error. Double strikes, misaligned dies, or unusual features like extra impressions or imperfections in the design could be your ticket to a huge payday. There are also apps and online tools that can help you identify whether your coin is a rare era version. You might even want to take it to a professional coin grader to get an official evaluation. To wrap up, the 2012 D 1-cent penny might seem like a common, everyday coin, but in reality, it could be hiding a fortune. So, keep an eye out for those rare era coins, because you never know when a simple penny might turn into $9 million. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing coin-related content. Who knows, the next time you check your pocket change, you might just find the next big thing. See you in the next video. Next, if you're a coin enthusiast or just someone who's curious about the world of rare collectibles, you're in for a treat today. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1988 D 1-cent coin, yes, the penny you might find in your pocket right now. Believe it or not, this humble little coin could be worth way more than its face value, and I'm not talking just a few extra cents. We're talking potentially millions of dollars. So stick around because you won't want to miss the amazing story behind this seemingly ordinary penny. Now you might be thinking, a penny? Worth millions? That sounds a bit too good to be true. Well, get ready for a journey into the world of coin collecting, rarity, and hidden treasures. The 1988 D 1-cent coin might just be your ticket to a fortune. But before we get into the specifics of its value, let's go back in time and explore the history of the penny and its significance. First, let's talk about the history of the U.S. penny. The penny has been a staple of American currency for centuries. It was first introduced in 1793, and over the years, it has undergone numerous design changes. But in 1988, something really interesting happened. The U.S. Mint was still producing the standard Lincoln cent with the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, but the reverse featured the familiar wheat stalks, a design that had been in use for many decades. 1988 was the tail end of the series that began in 1959, and that year's pennies were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of the 1988 pennies you'll come across are going to be your standard copper-plated zinc cents, with a face value of just 1 cent. But here's the catch: the 1988 D penny, which was minted in Denver, is where the real story begins. So, what makes the 1988 D penny so special? Well, the vast majority of these coins are your typical pennies, But there's a rare variety that has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors alike. This particular penny, the 1988D, was struck with an extremely rare error. And let me tell you, this error could make the coin worth a fortune. While most 1988D pennies are common and only worth 1 cent, a very small number of them were struck with a double die error. This is a type of minting flaw where the coin's design is stamped twice in slightly different positions, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the images, especially around the lettering and the date. The double die error can be most clearly seen in the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions on the obverse of the coin. If you look closely, you'll notice that the letters appear to be doubled, creating a slightly blurry or shadowed effect. This rare flaw is what sets the 1988D penny apart from its mass-produced cousins. So why does this error matter? Well, in the world of coin collecting, an error coin is often far more valuable than a regular one. It's not just the rarity of the minting mistake, it's also the condition of the coin. The better the condition, the higher the value. And we're talking about a potential value in the millions of dollars for a perfect example of a 1988D double die penny. In fact, one of these 1988D double die pennies has sold for as much as $58 million at an auction. That's right, $58 million, more than the cost of a luxury home, more than a fancy sports car, more than most people will ever see in their lifetime. And that's for a coin that costs 1 cent to make. How crazy is that? Now you're probably wondering, how can I find one of these? Where do I look? Well, let's break it down. First of all, it's important to know that not every 1988D penny is going to be worth millions. The double die error is extremely rare, and it's estimated that only a handful of these coins exist. So, how do you find one? Start by checking any 1988D pennies you come across. The key is to look for that distinctive doubling effect in the inscriptions. If you find one, congratulations! You might have a rare treasure in your hands. But don't get too excited just yet, condition is everything. A coin that's heavily worn or damaged will be worth much less than a well-preserved specimen. If you believe you have a 1988D double die penny, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a reputable grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation or the Professional Coin Grading Service. These services will assess the coin's authenticity and its condition, which will help determine its value on the market. And remember, even if you don't find $1 million penny, the world of coin collecting is filled with exciting discoveries. Sometimes, the hunt for rare coins is just as rewarding as the prize itself. So, the next time you're digging through your loose change, keep an eye out for that 1988D penny. It could very well be your ticket to a small fortune, or at least, a fun conversation starter. Thanks for joining me today on this amazing journey into the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more cool stories like this. Until next time, happy collecting! Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic that might just blow your mind, the 2017 penny. You might be thinking, wait, isn't the penny only worth 1 cent? Well, that's what makes this particular penny so unique. Stay tuned to find out why this little piece of copper could be worth much more than its face value, potentially millions of dollars. So, let's start with some context. The 2017 penny is not like any other regular penny you might find in your pocket. You see, this was the first time in US history that a mintmark P was placed on a penny, and that's a big deal. Normally, pennies are struck at the US Mint's facilities in Philadelphia without a mintmark, but in 2017, this change was made to honor the Philadelphia Mint's 225th anniversary. The P mintmark, which you typically see on dimes and quarters, was added to pennies as part of this special occasion. It's a nod to the legacy of the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest mint facilities in the world. But here's the kicker: while this change may seem minor to most of us, it's actually turned this penny into a collector's dream. You're probably wondering, why would a single penny be worth anything beyond its face value? Well, let me break it down for you. First of all, it's all about rarity. Although 2017 pennies were struck in large quantities, they were only produced for 1 year. And because most people didn't even know they existed, many of these coins went unnoticed and ended up in circulation. This is where things get interesting. In fact, the US Mint's production numbers were relatively high, with billions of 2017 pennies being struck. But the key factor here is how many have been saved and preserved in mint condition by collectors. You see, many of these pennies were spent without anyone realizing their potential value. However, those that have been carefully preserved are now worth far more than their 1 cent face value. So, how much is one of these pennies worth today? Well, depending on its condition and the market demand, a 2017 penny can sell for anywhere between $3 to $5 in average condition, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. When you're talking about one of these coins in near perfect or mint state condition, some of them have sold for upwards of $10 or even $20, still well above the typical penny's worth. But here's where things really get crazy. If you have a 2017 penny that's in absolutely pristine condition, and we're talking about a coin that's practically flawless, with no noticeable wear or scratches, you could be looking at a much bigger payday. The highest graded versions of this penny have been known to fetch prices anywhere from $100 to $1,000 at auction. And it doesn't stop there. On rare occasions, collectors have been willing to pay even more for these coins. In fact, there have been reports of some 2017 pennies being valued at upwards of $11 million. Yes, you heard that right, $11 million for a single penny. Now, I know that sounds unbelievable, but in the world of rare coin collecting, anything is possible. Now, let's get real for a moment. While an $11 million 2017 penny might be a 1 in a million case, it highlights the incredible value that rare, well-preserved coins can hold. Collectors are always on the lookout for unique specimens, and the 2017 penny is no exception. So, if you happen to have one of these coins in your possession, it could be worth significantly more than you might have thought. But what makes this penny so special? Why would it command such high prices, especially when it's still relatively recent? Well, there are a few reasons. First of all, the rarity of the 2017 penny is important. As I mentioned earlier, this is the only year in history that the P mint mark has appeared on the penny. The coin's historical significance is a big part of its appeal to collectors. Coins that commemorate important events, like the 225th anniversary of the Philadelphia Mint, are always of interest to collectors. And when those coins are also rare and unique, their value can skyrocket. The 2017 penny is a perfect example of how a seemingly small change can make a huge impact in the world of numismatics. So, how can you check if your 2017 penny might be worth more than a penny? First, take a close look at its condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. Look for signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. If it's still shiny and crisp, it's definitely worth getting it appraised by a professional. Additionally, if you're considering selling your 2017 penny, it's important to have it graded by a trusted grading service, such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. These companies can accurately assess the coin's condition and assign it a grade, which will help determine its value on the open market. And if you decide to sell, you might be surprised at how much collectors are willing to pay. Rare coins like the 2017 penny can fetch a premium at coin auctions, and online marketplaces like eBay are great places to find buyers who are looking for that perfect addition to their collection. So, there you have it. The 2017 penny, a small coin with a big story and even bigger value. While it may not be the most expensive penny in history, it's definitely one to watch for coin collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the world of coins. Who knows, you might just have a rare treasure sitting in your pocket right now. Until next time, happy collecting!